Amin and the Eggs. Once upon a time, in the land of Solaria, there lived a young man named Amin. He worked day and night to make a hard living. Amin plowed and harvested farmers' fields and milked their goats to cut a daily wage. But then, Solaria was hit by drought.
Sorry, Amin. There's no work left for you, my boy. The land is barren. There's nothing to sow, nothing to harvest.
And just like that, Amin's world came crashing down. The weight of despair settled on Amin's shoulders as he trudged home, each step heavier than the last. The very walls mock my hunger. If I stay, I'll wither away like the crops in the field. I must leave, but to where? And with what? I must leave Solaria, seek a new place where opportunity will present itself. Amin's spirit refused to be crushed by circumstance. He had to deal with his hunger, which incessantly asked him questions. With a heart as heavy as the drought's parched earth, Amin turned to his last hope, his neighbor and friend, Dirar, the chicken farmer. Dirar, old friend, I've never had to beg before, but I stand before you now with nothing, not even a morsel for the journey ahead. Dirar's eyes welled with tears at the sight of his friend, brought so low.
These are harsh times. What little I have, I'll share with you. Here, take these hard-boiled eggs. They're not much, but they'll keep hunger at bay until you find your feet again.
Dirar, your kindness, it's more nourishing than any food. I'll repay this debt, I swear it. With trembling hands, Amin accepted the basket of eggs. I go into the unknown, but I carry with me the warmth of your friendship. Thank you, Dirar. May fortune smile upon you in my absence. After many weeks, a farmer hired him, and Amin worked tirelessly yet again. Amin helped a market vendor to stack hay bales. He worked for anyone who would hire him, no matter how little they paid. After an arduous day's work, Amin would sit at his small wooden table, counting coins carefully. And Amin ate slowly, savoring each bite. He was careful with the money he earned, so careful that after 1 year, he had enough to buy a small plot of land. By the second year, he had a flock of sheep. By the third year, he had horses and cows. Years passed, each one a battle against hardship, but Amin's willpower never wavered. Through back-breaking work and clever decisions, he slowly stitched a life of prosperity. If only I can save enough this year, I can buy the adjacent land too. Now I have everything I once dreamt of. But what is still missing? The void in Amin's heart grew tenfold, a constant nagging ache that success without roots is a hollow victory. All this wealth, and yet I'm poorer than I've ever been. I've lost my home, my people, my very self. I miss Solaria. I miss my motherland. I miss my home. And so, when he had more than he had ever imagined owning, Amin was driven by an ache deeper than any physical hunger. He sold his land and most of his animals. Amin kept a camel, and he mounted his favorite black steed, who he had named in memory of Dirar, and the trio rode towards home. As they rode, Amin dreamed of the welcome he would receive in his village. You will love my village. Everyone is so nice and fond of me, and you won't believe I've worked on every farm in Solaria. Home. Also, you need to meet the person who I named you after. As Amin approached the entrance of his village, he slowed down, taking in the familiar sights. Solaria looked just as he remembered it, with children playing and villagers going about their daily routines. Ah, here we are. But when he entered the village, no one recognized him at first, though rumors quickly spread of a rich man on a handsome black steed who had appeared. Now, who is this new rich guy, and why is he here?
Shush. I think he's here to buy our lands.
When people discovered this wealthy stranger was their own Amin, they gossiped even more. The marketplace erupted in speculative gossip.
Can you believe he's that peasant boy Amin? I wonder how he landed so much money. Did he do something illegal?
Fresh dates. Get your fresh dates. Sweeter than Amin's newfound fortune.
Soon the people were convinced that Amin's wealth was even bigger. People whispered of palaces and jewels, and many complained behind his back. Good day, miss. Those apples look delicious.
Thank you, sir. They're the sweetest in all of Solaria.
Look at him, buying apples like he's one of us. I heard he has orchards that stretch for miles.
And palaces with domes. Yet here he is haggling over a few coins.
I'll take a dozen. And what are those interesting fruits there?
Those are pomegranates, sir. Would you like to try one?
He's probably just here to show off. Why isn't he sharing his wealth with us? We were friends once. He should share his camels in gold and silver.
Look at him, showing off with a pretty vendor girl. He should be ashamed, rolling in gold, while his old friends have barely enough to eat.
Friends? Ha! He's forgotten all about Dirar. Probably lounges on silk cushions all day, counting his millions.
This is delightful. I'll take some of these, too.
Spare some coins for an old man, generous sir.
Please give this man whatever he needs. I'll cover the cost.
That's very kind of you, sir.
Thank you for your help. And so, even as Amin's generosity shone through, the whispers continued, for envy is a weed that grows even in the most barren of hearts. Dirar, the chicken farmer, was more upset than anyone.
What an ungrateful man he is.
Ah, you should confront him. Yes, you absolutely must.
It's time to settle this.
Come in, old friend. I'm so glad to see you.
Enough with your fake love. I've come to collect the debt you owe me.
Oh, Dirar, don't tell me you've come all this way for a dozen eggs. I could whip up an omelet for old time's sake if you're hungry.
Are you mocking me, Amin?
Mocking? Me? I'm just trying to sunny side up this situation.
Enough with your jokes. You owe me, Amin. 7 years I've waited, watching my fortune slip away like sand through an hourglass.
Fortune? From boiled eggs? Dirar, my friend, I think the heat's addled your brain. Dirar's face reddened. He carefully constructed an argument to crack Amin's light-hearted approach.
You fool. Those weren't just eggs. They were my ticket to greatness. I could have hatched an army of champion roosters. I would have cornered the market on feathers, revolutionized the poultry industry.
Oh, Dirar, your imagination puts storytellers to shame. Next, you'll tell me you were planning to train those roosters to lay golden eggs.
Mock all you want, but you owe me 500 gold pieces. Those eggs were priceless.
Old friend, your kindness was indeed priceless, but your math is scrambled. 500 gold for a dozen boiled eggs?
I see your wealth has made you forget your place. The court will make you see reason.
Dirar stomped off towards the courthouse, muttering about ungrateful nobodies and missed poultry empires.
I gave Amin a dozen eggs, and each one of those eggs might have become a chicken. Each of those chickens would have laid dozens of eggs, and in 7 years, imagine the great flock I would have owned if I hadn't given away those dozen eggs to Amin.
Go and tell Amin he must appear in court tomorrow so that the case can be decided. The next morning, the judge called the court to order, but Amin was conspicuously absent, and for 30 minutes, everyone waited patiently for him to arrive.
He's fled. What a coward.
I shall render judgment. Amin will pay Dirar 500. I am sorry, my lord, but I think Dirar's calculations are wrong.
He has no understanding of fairness.
Amin, what defense do you offer? And explain your tardiness to this court. My deepest apologies, Your Honor. I was held up in my garden planting a crop of boiled beans. Silence! Have you lost your wits, man? Boiled beans will never sprout. Indeed, Your Honor, and please tell me, since when have boiled eggs hatched into chickens? The courtroom erupted into murmurs. Amin, he's not guilty and owes Dirar nothing. Dirar was ashamed, and everyone praised Amin's intelligence. And in that moment, Amin truly felt like he had come back home for his happily ever after.